let's say in 1991, I think it was India West Indies cricket match that happened in Srinagar, and there were green flags all around, and they cheered the opposite team. BJP RSS problem of never having connected with high culture. Now, the boycott Bollywood thing, however, is a very, very powerful idea, and it's quite a dangerous idea because it's a more heated atmosphere now. So that kind of thing can happen. So you can probably get some people saying, why don't you do a green bikini also and then fix it, kind of thing. So it's possible that people will say.
Suriya.
Wow. Yes. Like I'll tell you the thing about Suriya is there's this passion.
Hello and welcome to the show. Our special guest today is a man of many talents. He's a journalist, theatre artist, film actor, director, producer, and a motivational speaker. He's well known in the southern film industry as well as Hindi cinema. So what does he think about the ongoing battle between Hindi and South cinema? Why did he apologize to the Kashmiri pundits after acting in the controversial film The Kashmir Files? What's his opinion on the reviews to his latest film, India Lockdown? Well, let's find out from the man himself. Welcome, Mr. Prakash Belawadi. Thank you for talking to the Federal.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Sir, I want to begin this interview by asking you about your recent film, India Lockdown. Tell us a little bit about it, because we've all been through the lockdown in India, but tell us about the film.
I haven't watched the film because I have been abroad for most of the time since the end of June. I came to Australia in July, then I went to Scotland, then I went to Birmingham. I came back to India briefly for about 3.5 weeks, and I came back to Australia for an extended run of a new play. We're still I think we've done about 35 shows. We still have about 6 or 7 shows to finish. So I haven't had an opportunity to watch the film. So I can't respond. I can't give you an opinion on how the film has been made.
So I'll get to what you're doing in Australia in a little bit. But
sure.
And I just want to finish about the film. Madhur Bhandarkar is known for his realistic films. Do you think, if you've at least seen the trailer, he's touched upon some really hard-hitting topics, or was it just off the cream?
The problem with anthology films is that you don't get to read the entire script. Usually you don't demand also. Maybe I should have requested them to send me the full script. But I know my part of the story in that. I know my bit in that. I play the lead in one of the stories there.
Correct.
That was a very good story. It was very realistic, and it made a lot of sense. And how it intersects with the other stories, I can't make out because I don't know the other stories as well as that. And I had a very good co-actor, who intersects with this story. 2 of them actually. So I think critical viewing of a film may be a little different from how the audience sees a film. And I think Madhur Bhandarkar perhaps is the kind of director who has a very good sense of what an audience likes. And he's not actually doing rank commercial stories or anything. He actually he has the nitty-gritty of life, in his work usually. And I would like to trust that he has done the best thing possible with it. It was what he did with my part of the story was very good, I felt. I wish I could have seen it so I could have been more elaborate and told you what I like about it, but I haven't watched the film yet. I haven't had an opportunity.
Right, so I won't hold on you to it. Moving on, so what are you doing in Australia? I mean, you mentioned that you've already finished 35 shows. What is the show? What are you doing? Traveling around the world?
There was this strange phone call I got in either late 2017 or early 2018. I don't remember exactly when, where an Australian writer group, two of them, writer and producer, writer and directors. They wrote to me. I think first they wrote an email to me and said, we are sending you. No, they called me and said, we are doing a play in Australia and we would like you to audition for a part. Would you be interested? We are sending the script. I said, send the script. They sent the script. I saw it was just like an astonishingly good script. So I had zero interest in, or no, I wouldn't say interest. I had zero hope or imagination that I'll be part of such a play. As soon as I read it, I told them that I would like to produce the play in India. That's what I told them. Whereas this play, it's not an extension. It looks back from Sydney 2022 to what happened between 1995 to 2009 in Sri Lanka. And we've done now, as I told you, about 35 shows, and it's got very good reviews. So I'm acting in that play. That's why I'm here.
All right. Congratulations on the success of the show.
Thank you.
Sir, if I can take you back a few months ago, earlier this year, you had publicly apologized to when the film The Kashmir Files released. You had publicly apologized, stating that you didn't know much about the exodus of the Kashmiri Pandits, and you were a journalist at that point of time, and you were unaware of the things that was happening in Kashmir. What made you do that, sir? Was it just because you had acted in the film, or was it an honest confession?
See, I'm talking about 89, 90. 89 and 90, I was working with Sunday Magazine. It's not there now, but Sunday Magazine was a very prestigious magazine, founded by M.J. Akbar. But when I joined it, Veer Sanghvi was its editor. And, I was doing political reporting for Sunday Magazine. I was its political correspondent from Bangalore. And I thought of myself as a well-informed person. But I must also confess that, I was a very left-leaning person in those days. I would like to say I'm still a left-leaning person, but the meaning of left has changed in today's generation. What I thought was the left, and I still think I am that. That left is not there now. The left is now only identity politics. In my time, the left was above identity politics. The idea was class struggle. But it is now just identity. The left identifies with identity politics now. So at that time, I feel ashamed that I believe the story that, and we knew that something happened in Kashmir that was not good. We saw the cricket match, let's say in 1991, I think it was, the India West Indies cricket match that happened in Srinagar, when there were green flags all around and they cheered the opposite team. And I think the Windies, Greenidge and Haynes beat us for no loss, in that match. It was humiliating to watch, that test match which Doordarshan continued to show at that time. Even it was humiliating all day. We watched that nonsense. We knew all that, but we somehow blamed the Indian government because, we believe that Nehru had promised a referendum to the Kashmiri people, and that referendum was never carried out. We didn't understand that it became infructuous once you drive out, the Pandit or Hindu population from there. It was not just Pandits, other Hindus were affected too. There were Dalits in the valley. They were all driven out, and we never saw that the referendum no longer holds good once you do that. The idea of the referendum. We must also understand that some 500 or 600 odd princely states and provinces actually had to sign the letter of accession to India. It was not just Jammu and Kashmir. We didn't understand all that very well. And we believed the worst story about this, that was that a few pundits just got scared and ran away. We didn't understand the scale of the incidents at that time. We didn't know exactly what happened then, because it wasn't reported in any kind of detail in the newspapers that we were reading in Bangalore. So I feel I have a greater responsibility to it than normal people, because I should have been the kind of person who was reporting what happened, not being ignorant of it. And when I read the script that Vivek Agnihotri sent it to me, I asked him, is this true? He said, I've interviewed 700 families, around the world, mainly in the US, I think. It was just like, I was so shocked by it. So when the film released, and they asked me to put out a thing saying, like, every film company will say, put it on Instagram or social media, promote the film, they'll say, and we actors do it well or not so well. But I decided that I'll not do that. I'll just make a personal statement of what it means to me, and that's what I did, actually.
So very recently, uh, the Indian International Film Festival happened, and the jury had called the film "The Kashmir Files" a vulgar and a propaganda film. Of course, due to the repercussions, he apologized for his statements, but he still stressed on the fact that the film was pushed into the film festival due to political pressure. How do you look at his statement, or the fact that he called it a vulgar and a propaganda film?
See, for him to believe that the film was pushed into the festival, okay, he has to believe that, it's a government-controlled festival. He has to believe that, the jury, uh, the smaller juries of the or the preliminary juries that actually shortlist films that can come into a festival is fixed by the government or coerced by the government to put it there. Am I right? He has to believe that. If he agrees to be the head of the jury in such a festival, what is the integrity of the person then? That is question one. For him to say it's a vulgar film is his right. He's, after all, a jury member. He has the right to an opinion. For me, the thing is that he's a jury member. Jury members have the right to an opinion. They can like or dislike any film they want. So the previous juries have selected a film that they've liked. And like the other 14 films that were there, this was one of the films that was there. In that, he says it's called the 15th film. This was one of the films that was there. So if he allows the right, he acknowledges the right of the jury to select 14 films. And he says, I don't advocate the right of the, I don't approve of the right of the jury to select that 15th film. Isn't it hypocrisy? Three, the tradition of juries, that they select the film that they like and do a citation of the film they like, to stand up and only make a citation of film you didn't like, is propaganda. He was grandstanding because of his political stances, I think, in his country. I read about him later, he's a bit of a vulgar person himself, like he's like, he must be a good filmmaker. I'm sure. I've not seen his work, but he's won prestigious awards. He may be a good filmmaker, but he's a vulgar person because he grandstands and he gets more publicity not from his film but from his political stances. And he used a platform to communicate to his country, to his audience, to the people who listen to him there. Apart from the English speaking people of India, I don't think anybody cared about what he said, but he's actually grandstanding for them. So otherwise, why would he quote this film at all? And lastly, I will say this. When you accept to be a member of a government film festival and you do not trust the government that runs such a film festival, but you're opportunistic enough to come to India, receive the hospitality, and stand there and deliver that speech. I feel like funny because you think this would happen with a Congress government in Delhi. See, you have to acknowledge the governments in Kerala or the Congress-led governments in Delhi are full of smart people. They're well read. Many of them can speak English well. They will have a knowledge. You know, there'll be many cineasts in the grouping. They will know what is good international cinema, what is the right political opinion to take in an international festival. They would never make find a head of jury like this one. It's like somebody say like Ambika Soni or any other kind of Congress type information minister, say Kapil Sibal or any one of them will actually pick a jury head from say the RSS, right? It is as bad as that, and it comes from the BJP RSS problem of never having connected with high culture. So it's a bitter lesson for them to learn. Unfortunately, in the process, they humiliated, they got humiliated a little bit. I met a friend in Sydney, some left liberal type person, who said, that jury guy had gave a slap to India. I said, neither the IFFI festival nor Kashmir Files nor the jury member is as big as India. India is a very big and complex country, and that guy is really small. To slap India it is not. It's just that when people live in an island of 1 million, like Nikhil Chakravarti said, who read each other's opinion, in a country of 1,400 million, you can just like get carried away with nonsense that is written in English. It's a small event, but it's a big lesson. That's my opinion.
Right. So because you brought about the Congress and the BJP, I want to ask you a question about the situation prevalent in the Indian film industry across the country. Do you believe that there is the film industry is divided into pro-establishment and anti-establishment?
See, it's actually a market-driven thing. Okay. What I mean by that is, that if a large number of people of a particular persuasion, particular caste, particular religious persuasion can support an actor, a film star, they can make that film successful. So I think it is important not to piss them off if you're making a commercial film for a very big market. And I think Bollywood looks to serve the market. Bollywood would not be interested in that guy, that jury member we were talking about, for instance, they would not care about him. They will not end, commercial filmmakers will not look to enter their films into that festival. They don't care, okay? If we will have to beg some Bollywood star to come and participate in the inaugural event or something, they don't care about this festival. So what happens with Bollywood is that they may take stances for or against, and typically it will be like not the A group, A-lister, of Bollywood. They will be like B-listers and B minus or B plus listers, kind of people who can speak English, will come on Twitter and they'll take some strong political opinion, and they'll be more famous for being on Twitter or whatever social media they find than actually acting in films. I won't take any name because I don't listen to anybody, but but that is what it is. Again, it's an English language thing, maybe. I don't think anybody else cares. Now, the boycott Bollywood thing, however, is a very, very powerful idea, and it's quite a dangerous idea because it is possible that it can turn into a very communal thing that you do it, you target actors of a certain religious persuasion or community, and you can actually drive, persuade people who would like won't watch a film otherwise to think communally about the film, the lead actor. That trend may be happening. If you do offensive stuff to other people's beliefs, and I believe many Hollywood, Bollywood films do that, then you should allow people. If people are upset and they'll do whatever within their means to 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 resist you. You should take it as it comes. You want to give offense, you should be willing to take offense.
So then how do you look at the ongoing controversy as we speak? There's a
Which
song
one?
called Besharam from Shah Rukh Khan's next film, in which it's a song between Shah Rukh Khan and Deepika Padukone. Where she's wearing a saffron
Sir,
colored bikini.
I'm sorry. I saw the headline, but I don't know the controversy. I've not watched it. I'm
Okay.
in Pathaan, I've done a small role. So
Yeah. Okay. So there's a song between Deepika Padukone and Shah Rukh Khan
yeah.
on a yacht. It's it's an item song, and
Hmm.
uh, she's worn several bikinis. I mean, 10 to 15 bikinis, different costumes. One of them
Hmm.
happens to be an orange color bikini, and Shah Rukh Khan is
Hmm.
holding her. It
Hmm.
probably must come for it might just be for about 3 to 5 seconds.
Hmm.
So people are saying that the film should be boycotted because Shah Rukh Khan is, they're actually uh, making fun of the saffron clad bikini. I mean, before that particular costume comes, she's worn at least
Yeah.
about 10 different other bikinis, different colors.
Yeah.
But then, no.
Yeah.
And then you have
Yeah.
the, certain people from the other people saying, Katrina, I mean, a Canadian citizen like Akshay Kumar, did the same with Katrina Kaif. Even she
Hmm.
wore a saffron-clad bikini, I mean, saffron-color bikini.
Hmm.
Why didn't you guys
Hmm.
protest then? Why are you protesting now? How do you look
But
at that?
it's a more heated atmosphere now. So that kind of thing can happen. So you can probably get some people saying, why don't you do a green bikini also and then fix it, kind of thing. So it's possible that people will say. My point is this, I'll tell you. Is it against the law to say boycott this film?
Man, uh, you really can't do that, isn't it?
No, I'm saying supposing when you're a journalist. So if you write a review saying, I'll give it to half a star, don't watch this film. If you say, is it illegal?
No, it is not.
What happens is this, you're actually talking about the decency of the debate here. You're not talking about a legal problem here. And the discourse is indecent now. There is intolerance from the liberal side as well. They're really offensive. If somebody is a believing person, practicing, if somebody wants to go to Shabari and they have some belief, you're saying, I don't have belief, I just want to desecrate that idea itself. If you say, I would never go to Shabrimala, I'll not go to Tirupati, I'm not a believer, I'll not go. But if somebody wants to go, if you're not a believer, why do you want to go and do that nonsense? I'll not comment about the Supreme Court because, I don't want to get into trouble. But I respect the Supreme Court dissenting judge in that matter, a lady who said, in the matter of faith, you should leave it alone. I think, I will say that with so many cases pending in courts, the Supreme Court seems to have a lot of time for all this. My problem is with there's a lot of stuff to do in cinema, and it's got really bad now. What you're telling me sounds really like it sounds ridiculous. How can you object to Deepika is a film star? They cast her in films because she's beautiful. and she can, dance sensuously, and people will give money to go and watch that item number. They'll give her a lot of money to do it on show, and like people pay a lot of money to go and watch the first day, first show. If she's there in it, it's a commercial marketing entertainment arrangement, and you should let it happen. But if somebody says, we should boycott it, it's their right, you see, unfortunately. See, this is a problem. It's people's right to boycott. I'll go and watch the film because they said it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have watched the film, maybe even if I've acted in it. But I'll go and watch the film because they're saying, we'll boycott. My point is this, the thing is, if you want to have, public discourse of give and take, you will listen to that side and then you speak. This will be mitigated to some extent. But Parliament should set that kind of model. And you see in India how Parliament works for the last 15 years or so, 20 years. Bills are passed without debate. These elected representatives who have no work at all, who are just useless people, just sit there, shout slogans, disrupt, the functioning of Parliament, and allow bills to be passed without debate. They have betrayed their mandate. They don't care. At the highest level of debate in India, which is Parliament, this is how people behave. So you're asking ordinary people to behave better than that. I think you're asking for too much.
So quick questions from now on. Your thoughts on Kantara, the success of Kantara.
See, I watched Kantara in Sydney. And I felt charmed by that film because, it was Kannada, but it was a Kannada from another region of Karnataka. It was a fresh Kannada. It was a fresh, kind of storytelling. Even if the construct eventually is of, like corrupt landlord and, all that, it comes, but it's a commercial film. I would allow that. But for it to use mythology like that, rightly or wrongly, was quite interesting, I thought. So I think you have to treat a film like that as expanding the audience base, of actually giving a boost to the market that Kannada films can have, and should welcome its success. If you don't make a film like that, or if you don't like films like that, you go and make your film. But I can tell you that a film like that will open more screens for Kannada cinema, for at least for some time, all over India, and maybe in the world for some time. So while you do your artistic or whatever films you do, remember that you should show your films also. And Kantara opens that market to you. I thought, that Rishabh Shetty's work in that film as director, as the consumer, and as actor was very good. And so were his co-actors. I loved, the humor in the film, the irreverence of the film. And I thought that it's a great way to actually actually bring the corners of Karnataka culture into the mainstream. I've heard there are debates about caste and Hinduism and what is it should non-Brahminical and Brahminical and all that, but that is a typical liberal politics of India now. Just identity. They have zero interest in anything else. That's all they talk about. I'm bored and I have no interest answering that point, if you're asking.
So you work with several stars across Indian cinema. I'm gonna name some of them, and I want you to, give me one word for each one of these actors, because you worked with them.
Okay. I'll try.
Yes. All right. John Abraham to begin with.
Extremely decent person.
Akshay Kumar.
Affectionate, loving creature.
Irfan Khan.
Superb, superbly talented, thinking actor.
Suriya.
Wow. Like I'll tell you, the thing about Surya is his passion. He's such a passionate guy, how he cares for what he wants, how he does his work. He's really passionate and he's very charming personally.
Prabhas.
Very sweet person. Very humble also, Prabhas is.
Shah Rukh Khan.
Never met him.
So you don't have scenes with him in Pathaan?
No, I don't have.
Okay. Sir, well, we've almost come to the end of the show. I really want to thank you for giving us this opportunity.
Thanks a lot.
Subscribe to the Federal's YouTube page for more interesting updates.